Welcome viewers. Today I want to talk about daybooks. And I say daybooks are those document or books in which you record the transaction for the first time as accountants. So from the source documents, which are talking about the invoices, the receipt books, all those, we actually record information in the daybooks. Daybooks. So the daybooks are just books in which we're recording transactions on daily basis. That's why they refer to as daybooks. They also refer to as journals, or also referred to as prime books. Journals, or prime books. Prime books. So because we record the actual transaction in them for the first time, and the prime, they are actually major source of information whenever we are referring or when trying to trace a certain transaction. That's why they refer to as actually prime books. Now these day books, there are several of them, so I'll be listing them here so that we look at them, and then I'll be showing the format of what the day book is. So the first day book that we have is actually what we talk of as now a sales day book. Sales day book. Number 2 is a purchases day book. Purchases day book. Number 3 is we talk of now a sales returns day book. And then number 4, so talk of as a purchases return day book. And then we have another day book which we refer to as now as the cash book. As the cash book or the cash journal. Cash journal. The cash journal. Then the 6th one, so talk of now as the journal proper. The journal proper. So these are the types of day books that actually we're going to look at, and they are the ones in which we record the transaction on daily basis. Now I'll be briefly explaining each of them. A sales day book is normally used for recording the sales on credit. The sales on credit, and mostly it lists the names of debtors. It merely lists the names of the debtors and the amount for which we sold to them goods. So it is meant for credit sales. And why? Because we shall be having actually the names and the amounts of the persons whom we have sold, actually to whom we have sold the goods on credit. Now we also have what we call as a purchases day book, and the purchases day book is also used for purchases, recording purchases on credit. Used for recording purchases on credit. So it has the names of creditors. The names of creditors and the amount which you bought from them. So when you buy goods on credit, first thing, from the invoice that we receive from the suppliers, we record in this purchases day book. We look at the name of the supplier and the amount, and then record there. That is a record of a purchases or a purchase on credit. Now we have the sales return day book. Sales return day book is used for now recording any goods which are returned after being sold. So records says the return goods. So the names of persons who return goods to us. So the names of the persons who return goods to us, the ones now should be recorded in the sales return day book. It's also referred to as sales returns or return inward day book. Return inward day book. Now we have the purchases return just the opposite of the other one. This one now records the purchases returns. Purchases returns. And normally the name of the creditors or the persons who returns goods to. So when you return any goods to some of the suppliers, you should be recording them in the purchases return daybook. So also referred to as return outwards. Return outwards. Now we have the cash book or the cash journal. This one is used for recording all the cash transactions in the books. So records all cash transactions. So any cash transaction always will be recorded in the cash book or in the cash journal. So that one actually we always say it is multi-purpose. It accepts any payment or receipt of cash by the business. It will always be recorded in the cash book. So the cash book is the main book in which any cash transaction will also be recorded. Also referred to as a cash journal. So any cash transaction on day and the date, the detail or the explanation from whom you are receiving or whom you are paying money, and then the amount column will always be recorded for that. Lastly, you have a journal proper. Now, a journal proper is always used for recording purchase, let me use that word for now, or sale of assets on credit. So it's actually used for recording all the other transactions you cannot find their ways into these other books. So when you sell an asset and you don't receive money for the sale of that asset, then you cannot record it in any of these. Why? Because it is not for resale. You're not dealing in buying and selling items or a motor vehicle, but you're buying it to use in the business, so you record in the journal proper. If you purchase or acquire a machine, then you record here, so long as it's on credit. But if you cash, you record in the cash book, but a purchase or an acquisition of a machine on credit, you've not paid for it, be recorded in the journal proper. Now the journal proper is actually used for multiple purposes. One of them I've said actually is the purchase or sale of an asset on credit. Also it's used for what we talk about as correction of errors. Correction of errors. When correcting our errors which come up in the books, we should be looking at this one later. That when you're recording transaction in the ledger account, you may make an error or make an entry which is not right. So we always go ahead and try ascertain where those errors are, and then now we correct them. So when you're correcting them, we shall journalize. We always say journalize. We put the entry in the journal proper. The account which should be credited, account should be debited to correct the error which had been entered by mistake or error in our books there. So we use it for correcting errors. Then also we use it for showing opening balances in the books. The farm. So when you're starting a farm or you're starting a period, and then you want to know how much of the asset do I have, how many of the liabilities do I have, and how much is the capital, then you always use the journal proper. Or you show the assets on one side of the debit, then the liabilities on the credit. The difference between the two will appear down there as the closing balance will be now the capital. So it will also be used for that. And then also it's used for recording any transfer. To other accounts. And this one is very common, like in bad debts. In writing of bad debts, we shall be seeing actually, we shall be using this journal proper. So a transfer of some debt which is now not payable from the asset account to a different account, so it will now be written off as not payable or receivable. And it's the same. And more other transfers that we shall be seeing where we shall be using actually the journal proper. And then an entry where you're not sure where the double will go. Any entry we are not sure. Not sure. The double entry or account So if there's any transaction that you're not sure where, in which account you're going to take, the double entries to then you put in the journal proper as you investigate the same. So those are our day books. These are our day books. I've talked of the sales day book, which is actually sales on credit. Names of the debtors will appear there. Purchases day book is actually for purchase on credit. The names of the creditors will appear there. Sales return day book is actually whenever we sell our items to our customer, then he returns. Maybe they were defective, they were not the types you wanted. Then you shall record that return in our sales return day book, the name of the customer and the amount which were of the goods which were returned. Purchases return day book. So when we purchase goods and then we find they're not the ones we wanted, we return to the supplier. Then we shall record in our purchases return day book, which is just the opposite of the purchase account, or which is a day book. And then the cash book is actually the main book in which we record all cash transactions. Anything on cash, any transaction that is actually involving flow or movement of cash will also be recorded in the cash book or the cash journal. And then the journal proper is actually a book in which we record all the transactions which cannot find their way in any of all the other day books. So purchases on sale of assets or acquisition and disposal of assets on credit, correction of errors, showing opening balances in our books of the firm, recording any transaction or transfer from one asset to another, and then any other account transaction which you don't know in which account you shall have to take it will be recorded in this. And that's it for the day book. I'll be coming back to show the computation, how to make the format of a day book and how to make the entry in the same. Thank you so much.